Today we're going to be working on winterizing an older RV. Mine's a 1993 Bounder. And I don't have things like a dedicated winterizing line, a hot water heater bypass, or an air blowout line. This is going to work best, obviously, on a level surface. The first thing you're going to want to do is make sure that the city water input is off and the water pump is off. The second thing is you're going to want to open all the water faucets in the RV. The third thing is you're going to want to drain the water tank. And the fourth is to drain the water heater tank, which is right here. On your RV, you should have a water tank similar to this. And you also notice you should have a water tank drain. And you can verify that by looking underneath the RV for a drain that looks something like this. All right, now we're going to look at the water heater itself. We have an exhaust vent, control board, pressure relief switch, ignition assembly, the propane input, and this is the drain valve or anode rod, depending on what kind of water heater you have. Make sure before you remove this that you haven't used this water heater in several hours. You want to make sure you don't burn yourself. Once it's sufficiently cool, you're going to want to remove this drain plug and let the water drain out. It'll take several minutes. Now you can use a flush wand that will help remove the scale and buildup that happens over a typical RV season, and I'll have a link in the description below if you're interested in that. I have an Atwood, which typically is made out of aluminum, so I have a drain plug here. For those of you who have suburban water heaters, typically you're going to have an anode rod. When you unscrew this, an anode rod will come out. If it looks too corroded, you're going to want to replace it. Typically, I would recommend doing it once per year. Once your water heater's drained, your water tank is drained, your faucets are open, no more water's coming out, the next thing you're going to want to do is button this up, place your drain plug or your anode rod, and make sure your drain valve on your water tank is also closed. So once you've replaced the drain plug on the water heater, you've closed the valve on the water tank, and you close all the faucets inside the RV, the next step is we're going to use non-toxic antifreeze, and we're going to pour that into the water tank. And I generally do that through the freshwater inlet. So how do you know how many gallons you actually need to fully winterize all the systems and lines in your RV? A good rule of thumb is 150% of your water heater capacity. My RV, for example, has a 6-gallon water heater. 150% of that is 9 gallons. So you take the 6 gallons, divide it by half, and add that half back on top of the 6. For those of you who have 10-gallon water heaters, the 150% rule would give you 15 gallons. You can find the specialized RV antifreeze for about $5 or $6 a gallon, depending on where you go. Once you have the appropriate amount of antifreeze in your water tank, you're going to want to start your water pump. You're going to open your cold water faucets first, one at a time, until you have the pink antifreeze run out into the sink. In my case, I'm going to open the hot water faucets second because it's going to fill up the water heater tank first and then come out into the faucets. Now as you run the antifreeze through each faucet, the P-traps will retain some of the antifreeze, which is what you want. You don't want those freezing either. Don't forget to also add some antifreeze to both your gray and black water tanks as well. And then once you're finished, double check your water tank to make sure you still have some in reserve. I hope this helped some of you with the older RVs. If you got some value out of this video, please like and subscribe. And we'll see you in the next video.